right, we seasoned up the Lonestar Mini and we're gonna do our first cook. First thing we're gonna do is set up the T-plates here. We got it set up for a small cook. On this particular cooker, my vents are on the right side instead of the left side. So I'll set my fire up here on the right side. We'll get that going and we'll get right back to you. We're just gonna do a quick chicken cook with some drumsticks, so don't need a whole lot of time there. So load it up the right side. Fist-sized chunks of pecan wood this time with some B&B charcoal. Left a little pocket at the front. I'm gonna get about a half of a chimney going and then just pour that right in the slot and get this thing up to temp. We had about this much fuel last night when we did the burn off, and it ran about 12 and a half hours and kept a temp of about 250 degrees. It was still holding at 175 degrees this afternoon, even after 6 more hours. So this thing is very, very fuel efficient, and we're not going to need near this much fuel for this burn, but we can close it off and save it for the next time. Kind of difficult to do this one-handed, but we'll get through it. About a half of chimney there. We'll light this thing up. When you're starting these grills up, you need to make sure that the vent on the side, the air draft, is open. And of course, the exhaust is wide open. And we'll pour that chimney of charcoal in there and get this thing rolling. Got a good bed of coals there, about ready to pour them in. Just gonna pour them right here in this front corner. Get that in there. Closed up and get her started. Loaded the charcoal in, temp gauge sitting at about 80 or so. We'll come back here in a minute and see where we're at. Give it about 15 minutes or so and see if we can get it up to about 125, 150 or so. We'll start backing it down at about 200 degrees. We'll start choking it off. Our target temp is going to be about 275. Guys, as we're waiting on that temp to come up on the pit, I'm going to prep these chickens and get them ready to put on. I like to use these cooling racks that go directly onto the grill. And what I do to begin with is spray them down with a little bit of Pam to make sure that it just makes it a whole lot easier to clean because the stuff doesn't stick to it. So we're going to use Meat Church's fajita seasoning on half of these chicken legs, and then we're going to use this. I don't know if you guys have Brookshires around where you guys are at. I don't. I had a coworker send me a batch of this stuff, and this sweetly sinful chipotle seasoning is great on chicken. So we'll do half of that and half of the other one. I like a little bit of spicier chicken. Kids not so much, so this has got a little bit of sweet to it. Guys, we've got all these legs rinsed. The key to having crispy bite through skin is one, getting all the moisture you can out of the chicken and the chicken skin on the outside, and then introducing a fat back onto the skin before you put your rub on. So you can put olive oil, you can rub it in butter, you can use any kind of oil, even spray pan will work. I don't prefer that, but you can use it, and then get them really dry, oil them up, just a thin layer of oil, and then add your seasoning. We'll get that done right now. So what I like to do is just lay out the paper towels, get your chickens laid there, and then just get another paper towel and just push down until you can get as much moisture out of them as you can. Once you get the moisture out, make sure that you pull the skin up. If the skin is flat down, like this one's flat down, pull that skin up. Pull her skirt up, and then make sure that's dry too. And then we'll move them over to these cooling racks that are coated with Pam, and we'll get a olive oil sheen on them before we put the rub on. So we'll knock the rest of these out. No reason for you to stay with us for that, and we'll bring you back in a minute. As you guys are pulling the skirts up on these chicken legs, if you find some of this nasty fat, I mean, some people might like this, but I find this to be bad texture and just rubbery. Pull that fat right off and throw it in the garbage. Now that we got them rinsed, dried, and covered with a little bit of oil, we're gonna add the seasoning. This first one will be this is Meat Church fajita seasoning. Got good color, good content. Got a little bit of spice. It's not one of the spiciest rubs out there, but it sure has a little bit of bite to it. And we'll get these all rubbed up with this, and we're gonna use the Sweetly Sinful on the next batch. That's a Brookshire's, I guess, their house rub. It's really good for the price. It was, Buddy said it was only about $2 or $3 for the same size, well, a little bit smaller than what I got here in this Meat Church. And for only a couple of bucks, you can get, it's a pretty nice size seasoning blend. Got a little hint of cinnamon in it. Got a little bit of sweetness, and then that chipotle, which has a little bit of heat, but not so overpowering that it'll burn the lips off the kids. So it's a good go between spicy and just really, really mild. We'll get them all covered up, and we'll go check on that pit and see if it's at temperature and ready for us to add this to it. Looking good. Never fails. Start a video and here comes the rain. We'll get through it though. About 35 minutes in, we're up to about 200 degrees. Coming right up, we're gonna start choking it down a little bit. Close the air intake to about a third open. And then as we get closer to the temps, we wanna make sure we close it a little bit more to make sure we don't overshoot. So we'll get that done and get these chicken on here in a minute. Got up to about 250, about 25 degrees from our target temp. We're gonna go ahead and add the chicken on. This pit seems to run hotter at the top of the pit, so we're gonna put the chicken towards the top. Just have a couple of pans with some tinfoil on it to catch the dripping so we don't have so much cleanup at the end. These two things on. Sliding around a little bit. All right, close her up and check her in a little bit. About 45 minutes in, they're coloring up nicely. Looking really good. This lighting doesn't get us, we'll get this cook done. See y'all soon. Still burning clean. Good. Still storming pretty good out here. It's been on for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Let the smoke clear out here. Skin pulling away, color getting real good. They're coming right along. We're gonna bump the temperature up a little bit, crispen that skin up. Probably bring it from 275 on up to about 3 1/4, maybe 350. Let it hold there until they're done. Back in there, bud. Woo. Pulling away from the bone. Looking delish. they are done. After about an hour and 45 minutes or so, maybe right up to 2 hours, we got crispy skin, real juicy chicken legs off of the insulated mini smoker. You can do this with any kind of chicken. Just make sure, like we said at the beginning, to wash it, dry it really well, put some sort of a fat on it before you put your rub on it. And then towards the end, the last 20 or 30 minutes, kick up the temp to 325, 350 or so, and that skin will come out crispy and bite through. Appreciate y'all coming by. Please subscribe, click that like button, and if you got any comments or any ways that you can get your skin on your chicken crispy, put it in the comments below. Thanks, guys.